Today we're going to be talking about the best, most fun class in Fantastic Frontier, and that's Melee. Now, if you guys play this game regularly, you're going to know that Melee is something different. You know, it is a different beast entirely. It is unsafe to play a lot of the time, but it's also really, really good. If you can make it past early game being almost unplayable, you're gonna have some fun, because late game it really starts to ramp up. Speaking of early game, let's get into it. So for weapons, you're going to be able to choose between any dagger. This is for movement purposes purely, you know, early game, because they don't really do that much damage, but mainly they're used for movement with the jump boosting you can kind of do with them. So if you get your hands on a dagger, don't be too upset. Another weapon that you can use, which it kind of just looks cool, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty easy to get if you get lucky, is the Whapper Sword. And the next one is gonna cost you a little bit more. It's gonna be the Power Axe. Now, this one is actually pretty good for melee early game. If you get your hands on this, you are going to be very happy. It does a lot of damage and it looks pretty cool as well. It's pretty unique. And another weapon you can get quite early, like not terribly early, but as long as you can kill the magma boss, you can get the Inferno Hammer, which it looks awesome and it does pretty good damage for early game. Armor for early game melee players is going to be Furnace Mummy, and you want the whole set of that. It gives great melee bonuses. And for the boots, you're going to want to run the normal jump boots. We're going to talk about melee accessories. Now, they do get a little jumbled up. There is quite a few that you can change out for your playstyle. Now, the changes that you can make basically kill you. I'm not going to lie. They reduce your armor and reduce your regen. So if you are going to do that, be careful. But for your neck, you're going to want to run the Vital Pendant, which will give you more regen, which is definitely needed in melee range. You can choose to use the speed necklace thing if you feel like you're too slow with certain armor you've got on that you might not like. That's up to you really based on your playstyle. For your back, most of the time you're going to want to run the Eyes of the Sword, which give you the highest, or second highest melee damage. If you care more about regen and that walk speed that you're going to lose with some armor, you can choose the Meeting Remnant. Or if you just want full glass cannon and you don't worry, you don't care about, if you live or not, you can choose the Emperor's Cape, because it gives you the highest melee damage no matter what. But like I said, it does reduce your armor, so be careful of that. For your ring slot, you're going to want to go with the Ring of Power most of the time. Pretty much all of it, if I'm going to be honest. It's got the highest melee damage without killing you, I know. And it also gives you some endurance. And what I was talking about killing you is you can switch it out for the Scorched Souls ring, but that is going to drain your health quite quickly, and being in melee range, you do not want that. You kind of gotta fight for your health as much as you can. Miscellaneous, you do have a couple options. They basically do the same thing. You got the Gold Antlers and the Pirate Hook. They both give you 40 melee damage, so you can switch out whichever one you get first, or I don't know, maybe you want to use it for cosmetic purposes, I don't know. And if you want to go the not safe route, which is full glass cannon, you got the Yatzil Crest, and that will give you the most melee damage for your miscellaneous slot, but it does reduce your armor even more, so be careful with that one too. Getting into mid-game melee, you start to get a little bit of survivability under your belt if you choose so. So with the armor, if you want to play safe and not die all the time, going 3 pieces of Guild Knight is definitely a safe option. But if you're more damage oriented and movesets and whatnot, then you're better off going with the Void Lord and 3 of those pieces, because they have very high damages. The boots are just going to be simple spider stilts. As for weapons, they don't really change too much. You kind of just got to choose between the Angel and Demon Greatsword. You can incorporate the Rusted Coin Scythe just for a little bit of healing against groups of enemies, or if you want to be edgy, you can switch out for the Crypt Blade. Now we're going to get into the serious stuff. We're talking about endgame melee, where it truly shines. Now, for your weapons, you do have quite a few options based on how you want to play personally. Obviously, there's top tier stuff, I would say, that outshines everything else personally, but some weapons that you got to choose from would be the Frontier Greatsword. Very good at sweeping out a lot of enemies. The special's quite good for that as well. The Tri-Blade Spear thing, that I haven't actually used it too much, but I know from previous experience. A lot of people do, and they do love it. It's kind of like a ride or die, being able to switch between all three stances. Me personally, my favorite, the pure blood dagger. It just does the most damage, like DPS wise. I know it's not like a big group clearing weapon, but like I said, personally, it's just the best. The honoring blade, another honorable mention. Does big AoE. You can do the lava ability on it, and that'll clear out a bunch, and it does a fair amount of damage over time. It is based off magic damage, I believe, but still a good sword nonetheless. The Red King Greatsword is another beast of a weapon. It does a lot of damage. Almost rivals the Pure Blood Dagger, except it's kind of situational because you kind of need the special ability to be up for it to do max damage. And the last weapon that you could probably use late game would be the Red Power Fists. I don't use them personally, but they do get a fair bit of use because of, well, one, because of how they look, and two, because of the special. I believe it gives you AoE punches with the speed of a dagger pretty much, so it's quite good, quite fun, definitely not a bad pickup. In-game armor kind of depends on what you want to do. I'm going to tell you my setup personally, and then a setup that will definitely get you killed. So my setup that I run personally is a Fire Guild like head, a Bedrock chest, and a Fire Guild leg. It gives regen, endurance, damage, armor. It's kind of the best of all worlds without dying, And then the max damage, melee one shot, everyone look at me build is fear for your head and 2 true spectral vanguard pieces for your chest and your legs. Now, like I said, that build will get you killed. I know it will. Send me the clips. I want to watch. Yeah, and for the boots, red tag laser, you already know it. Gives the most armor, speed, just awesome stuff. Alright guys, that's the end of my melee guide. If you guys did enjoy, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be making a couple more tutorials like ranged and tank, and I also will be covering the update when it drops. Don't forget. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.